Hello guys. Welcome back to GDT Tech Reviews. In this video we are going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best bridge cameras 2021. So let us get started in the review based on our studies and small research. If you have any personal suggestion, do let us know in the comment section. If you are for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon for more videos. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use it for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. So let's get started. 4K photo is an innovative feature found on higher spec Panasonic cameras, so to see it on an entry-level model such as this is fantastic. This feature allows you to capture a burst of 30 frames per second at 4K resolution, which is 3840 by 2160 pixels, from which you can extract an 8MP image. This is large enough to print up to just under A4 size, so perfect for snapshots. When reviewing images on the FC80, FC82, you can select a single frame from the burst by scrolling through and selecting the best option, which will then be saved as a JPEG. There are 3 settings available. 4K burst is best for fast-moving subjects. Here you press and hold the shutter button to capture a sequence of images. There is a half-a-second delay after pressing the shutter button, so it pays to anticipate the subject and release the shutter early. For more unpredictable subjects, 4K burst, SS, is best. This requires you to press the shutter button to begin capturing a burst, before pressing it a second time to stop. In this mode you can place markers within the burst to help you quickly find the best frames later. The camera's autofocus system works in good time and shot-to-shot times are very good, even when capturing RAW files, although a fast memory card advised. With the familiar EOS-style menu system you have very good control over your captures too. Although it's not possible to apply different styles, color settings, to images when shooting RAW files, and post-capture RAW processing is also sadly not provided. For a camera with such a small sensor, the PowerShot SX70HS is capable of very pleasing output. Exposures are largely fine, although the limited dynamic range does mean that highlight details can blow in high contrast scenes, so using the auto lighting optimizer is a good idea. The PowerShot SX70HS is built around a lens equivalent to 21 to 1365 mm and 35 mm terms, with a maximum aperture of f/3.4 to 6.5. No change from its PowerShot SX60HS predecessor then, although the presence of the latest Digicade engine means that the camera's image stabilization system can provide up to 5 stops of correction among other things. Also new is the sensor, a 20.3 MP back-illuminated device, up from the previous camera's 16.1 MP alternative. While the scope of the lens means that it measures just 0.3 inch in size, the fact that its sensitivity range only stretches between 100-3200 may disappoint some. Still, with a more effective stabilization system than before, perhaps you won't need to reach the higher settings as frequently. The camera captures both RAW files and JPEG images, with the former now storable in Canon's CR3 RAW format. This was introduced in the EOS M50 back in February, and its main advantage over its CR2 predecessor is that it can store smaller RAW files captured at full resolution but in a smaller size. Videos, meanwhile, are recorded at up to 4K UHD resolutions, with 30p and 25p option offered here. The FZ1002 is a bridge-style camera, one that's shaped a lot like a mirrorless model, but doesn't offer interchangeable lenses. It's an appealing category for both pros who own a big camera rig, but don't want to carry it all the time, as well as more laid-back snapshooters who want more than a phone provides, but without the hassle of carrying bags of lenses and accessories around. The camera measures 3.8 by 5.4 by 5.2 inches, HWD, and weighs about 1.8 pounds. It's finished in black, with the LUMIX logo much more prominently displayed than the Panasonic name. The same camera is also sold by Leica, as the VLux 5. But you'll pay a premium. Leica's version costs $1,250. We tested both versions and they perform identically. The fixed lens covers the same angle of view as a 25 to 400 mm zoom for a full-frame camera. It opens up to f/2.8 at the wide end, with the aperture narrowing to f/4 when zoomed all the way in. It's similar to what Sony does with its RX-10 and RX-10 models, both of which use a longer 24 to 600 mm f/2.4 to 4 zoom, but also cost more than the FZ1002. The 25 to 400 mm zoom covers a wide variety of situations. The camera ships in a pretty sizable box, and for good reason. The LUMIX P1000 is a chunky camera that's roughly the size of an average professional DSLR. In fact, it occupies a similar volume to a Canon 5D Mark III with a 100mm macro lens. It's also quite heavy at 1.4 kilograms, and the design of the lens and placement of some of the buttons require you to use it with two hands at all times. The plastic body feels sturdy and has a subtle texture that allows for a good grip. The hand grip is chunky, with plenty of rubber inserts, giving you the feel of a DSLR. The camera is front-heavy due to the 17-element lens array, so it's not the most ergonomic design. This is something that couldn't be helped, considering the purpose it's trying to achieve. The front of the lens has a ring around it that lets you adjust focus in manual mode, but it can also perform different functions like exposure compensation, ISO or white balance adjustment, depending on what you set it to. The left side of the lens has a button for a snap-back zoom feature and zoom lever. Snap-back zoom is useful, as once you press it, the viewfinder zooms out a little for you to reframe your shot, and once you release it, it snaps back to that zoom level. The zoom lever lets you make minor adjustments to the zoom level. The shutter button also has a zoom lever, and it can be programmed in an interesting way, which we'll get into in the next section. The Nikon LUMIX P1000 has a pop-up flash as well as a hot shoe for attaching an external flash. The 0.39-inch OLED viewfinder has a resolution of 2.35 million dots and diopter adjustment. We like the fact that the viewfinder protrudes outwards quite a bit, so when you look through it, your nose doesn't touch the display easily, preventing sweat and grime buildup. The controls on the top include a mode dial, command dial, power button, and customizable function, FN, button. All the ports are placed on the left of the camera and are covered by rubber flaps. These include a microphone input, micro HDMI, micro USB, and an accessory terminal. At the back, we have a 3.2-inch display with a 921K resolution. The RX-10 IV is nearly physically identical to the RX-10 III. It's designed in a bridge style. The body is similar in size and shape to an SLR, but the lens is integral to the design rather than interchangeable. It measures 3.7 by 5.2 by 5.7 inches and weighs 2.4 pounds. The body is black, with a mixed polycarbonate, rubber, and metal exterior and an internal magnesium alloy chassis. It's a weather-sealed design, with enough protection to use in rainy or dusty environments without worry. The fixed lens is the same 8.8 to 220 mm, 24 to 600 mm equivalent, f/2.4 to 4 design used by the RX-10 III. It's tied for the longest in the class. The RX-10 III uses the same one, and the Canon PowerShot G3X sports a 24 to 600 mm f/2.8 to 5.6 zoom, dimmer and slower to focus than the RX-10 IV. To get an idea of the range of the 24 to 600 mm zoom, take a look at the image below. The left half is 24 mm and the right half is 600 mm, a tight shot of the full moon. Other super zooms have longer designs, like the 65x Canon PowerShot SX60HS. But they use smaller image sensors and narrower apertures. The RX-10 IV uses a 1-inch sensor design with a surface area that's 4 times that of the 0.3-inch designs used in more affordable bridge models. The mechanical flash release is just to the right, in a row of buttons that also includes the top LCD backlight control, and the programmable C1 and C2 buttons.